Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our Timberborn 1.0 experimental playthrough with Folktales, Cycle 19, Day 3. Let's take a quick look at the patch notes we got this morning as of me recording this video. Not a ton of stuff to discuss, but the small changes they made are going to have a pretty big impact on the rest of this game. Specifically, aquifers no longer, supposedly, are going to dispense bad water. They've been replaced by a new building called the Bad Tide Drain. Well, I guess it's not really a drain so much as it is an old artifact on the map. So if you start a new game in 1.0 experimental right now, then you would have those on the map, but they can't retroactively add them to existing games. So we don't have any of those. I guess our aquifers are just not going to be dispensing anything except clean water during temperate cycles, which, hey, that's fine by me. I don't know if you guys are going to be happy with that, but I think it's exciting to have no more need to worry about all sorts of nasty stuff coming out of those aquifers. But outside of that, we have some visual fidelity improvements, changes to unstable cores, which aren't on this map anyway, and then the shrub is now unlocked by default. I know, absolutely groundbreaking change made there. All sarcasm aside, though, they've made some other changes for modding and bug fixes and stuff, but that's not really anything that applies to us specifically. So we're just going to move right on along. I'm not going to move these levees out of here quite yet. I do want to actually confirm, because I do not trust that anything is not going to break. But I want to confirm that we're not going to have any bad water coming out of here before we get rid of this. It's going to be interesting to see how that changes our playthrough, since any of these aquifers that I build now will not have any bad water. If this is correct, coming out of there, we may end up having accidentally made this a super easy playthrough for no reason, just by virtue of the update being what it is. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not against going into dev mode and adding the bad water drains in the places they are on the updated version of the map, just so we can say we're doing it correctly. But I digress. Let's get this in triple speed, get through the rest of the night here, and talk about what we are going to get accomplished today. We started the process of getting this mining area set up. The mine itself is not finished, but the smelter sure is, and we're in the process of getting that stuff all taken care of. We did spend a very long amount of time putting all these buried power shafts in. I think it looks kind of cool. So we'll see what happens with that. But that does mean, come all the way back over here, we don't need these anymore. We absolutely do not need them. So I'm going to pause them for now. I do need to take this out and rerun all of our power shafts and everything to get these things connected correctly. But we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about that. So we can empty everything out, move those to more appropriate places, and move on with our lives. A lot of you guys seem to like this. Some of you really don't, but at this point I'm not going to take it out right now. What I will do is add a couple of these small piles in place. In a few spots I can actually justify sticking them. Remember, the folktales can't stack the piles unless they are the piles placed on top of overhangs or whatever. What I can do at the very bottom here, you just peel back our layers a little bit. I've got 6 of these gear workshops that I'm sure would love to have access to some planks set to obtain right there. And then, actually, you know what? This one should be a warehouse. Hold on. I've got an idea. That's dangerous. We need to have a warehouse for gears set to supply. And then I guess I could just have another warehouse for gears set to supply at the very bottom. Because what can you do with the warehouses? First of all, you zoom out so you don't hear those pounding noises. You can place items on top of them. And since we don't have any access to these things here, I'm just going to pop in platforms. Thank you, autosave. And then at the top, I will put in these things here for planks and for logs. Now, I know we have it's just right here. It's not that big of a deal. But somebody asked that we put that in there, and I thought that was a pretty easy request to have. So if you make that a plank supply, then it's not that far away from everything else. It just keeps things organized a little bit better. If you think it's stupid, let me know. I don't know, but that was not my idea. Just thought we'd humor people in the comments, see if that works. Outside of that, I think probably what most of our stuff should focus on today is if fixing the zipline network probably, and again, I've said it a bunch of times, and you're probably sick of it, but I don't like that I can only put 2 things on this. It makes it so hard. So hard to get things connected. But there's ways to kind of get around that, make things that look a little bit less stupid than what I have going on here. But to be perfectly honest, I don't have the engineering mind to come up with that. And it's probably never going to be something that looks great. But what we can do is we can kind of improve how some stuff connects to other stuff. It's just one of those things where you're never going to win with this, because you have to have some sort of like mastermind level of understanding of how everything works, and also the time to edit this down from 10 hours to 30 minutes or whatever. And I don't. I got time to play this for an hour and see what we can do. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put in a zipline station right here next to the piles. That was something someone suggested. And I can't technically connect it to here. What I can do is I can connect to here if I change this one's connections to go here. And by that one connection, I mean just this connection to this station instead going to this one, and then this one can get connected here. Which, I don't know that really does that much more, but it works, and these are close enough they can make a transfer without it being completely stupid. Not completely stupid, at least. And I guess now is about the time we talked about the math with the lumber mills and the whatever these things are called, gear workshops. Yes, I am overproducing planks, but that is why I did it that way, so I could eventually put in wood workshops and printing presses. We talked about this. Or if I didn't talk about it, then I was supposed to, and then blame passed me for not talking about it. But there's a reason why I did it the way I did it. Just trust me, I know it's hard sometimes, but there is a method to the madness, and that's basically the only way I know how to go about stuff. So this little symmetrical, semi-symmetrical, whatever area here is probably fine as is. But I do need to have somewhere to put in wood workshops. And since everything's connected power-wise, thanks to what we did last episode, yes, I know it's not currently enough power. We're going to also work on that. But basically, the entire map is connected here, with the exception of this area down here has not been... There we are. That hasn't been taken care of. Maybe that's something we do at some point in the future, but I don't want to spend that much time right now working on it. I think what's going to make the most sense is for us to relocate our wood workshops to just be right around here. They'll fit in very, very easily in this exact location. And I think it's not going to look super ugly. We will see, I suppose. Right now, I just have this one wood workshop right here, and this is not a great spot for it. This whole area is really ugly, and I'd like to fix that. So in conjunction with all of our other fixes, we will be working on those as well. And I suppose I could just put 2 of these right here. Thank you, autosave. Let's just bring this all the way out here. And then I will bring this, I guess, honestly, I can just put this right here. We already have logs, planks, and logs again over here. I think what might make the most sense, and I know this isn't what I said I was going to do the last time, but I'll just change this to treated planks, because it's already here. But I will have to have storage for pine resin, which, should I have a larger one? Probably. Will I? Not right now. I just need to have somewhere to bring pine resin to. And then we already have the planks right here, and then that's nice and easy. So I can't fit a regular size one, so we'll just put 3 of these smaller ones in here. Is it efficient? No. Is it going to work? Yes. So that can go there. I'll just get this hooked up that way. And then, you know, I guess I could put one here, but I'll leave this open in case I decide I need to put another zipline station in or something. But that should be a nice improvement. And will also allow me to retire this. And I guess probably during a drought would be a good time to just deconstruct this entire thing. Down to the studs, so to speak, and just reconfigure everything. Maybe finally get this water wheel situation ironed out with levees like so many of you wanted me to do before. And someone also suggested I use this as an irrigation dump. Well, that would work. It would be a lot of water because that's super deep, and also 4x1 is not a great dimension for an irrigation dump. I don't think we really need to be that worried about it. I think it's going to be fine. But now we're making almost 4,500 HP, and we only need 2,860, so that works out pretty well. We do need more gravity batteries. Yes, I detest how they look, but we have to put them somewhere. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out yet. But since I did say we're going to do some more stuff with the zip lines, I need to figure out a good place for a zipline hub where I can kind of exploit some of these mechanics a little bit. And I know we talked about this a whole bunch of different times. And I still don't really have that much of an idea of what I'm going to be doing with this. But what we can do is we can make the two zipline stations kiss. We talked about this before, right? Entrance to entrance. They will share any connections that occur between them, but they can't leave. It's like the Hotel California except for beavers. But if you do one of these numbers, then anything coming into this and anything coming into this can just transfer automatically. And if you need an interchange that they don't have to actually leave from to get to local stuff, then that works perfectly fine. You can do some sort of fancy stuff right here by putting a third one on the back, and then this one can connect here. And then this one will have one more connection to this one. And this one has one more connection somewhere else. It really doesn't work that great. You only get one extra connection, and it's arguable if that even counts as an extra connection. But this one does connect to something else, too. It's just, Again, if I say it too many times, people are going to hunt me for sport, but I really don't like the zipline system. I need these to have more than two connections, or else it's just like, what are you even doing? So again, we could, if we really wanted to, we could do something like that, but there's minimal benefit unless you have some sort of mastermind level planning skill, which I clearly do not. Drink water, it's good for you. But I've been talking about wanting to move stuff out of here forever. And this is where we have our spatterdock coming in from the aquatic farm, and we have our chestnuts coming in from here. I feel like this space could be much better utilized. I just don't know what to do with it. So I kind of don't want to mess with it until I have to. But we have space up here that we could, if we wanted to, do some storage with. Just some simple medium warehouse stuff. But we don't have a lot of things going on here in terms of industrial capacity. So I don't want to build stuff that I don't know for sure is going to get used just for the sake of having something to build. I don't think that's a good use of anyone's time. But these are already working, looking pretty good here. And we need more beavers. We'll get to that in a second. And we need to beautify that. I don't have a good idea for that yet. I want to see if cycle 19 is going to give us a bad tide or a drought here. I kind of want it to be a bad tide so I can once and for all figure out if I'm going to have to be afraid of these aquifers or not. But if this actually does work, like it said in the patch notes, then boy, can we get up to some fun stuff with these things. We can just generate so much power with water and not have to worry about any contamination. But since we're not going to find out for at least another day, we need to talk about what we're going to do to get more beavers. And boy, is this a hotly debated topic, at least among those of you who actually talk about it. Some of you really like the centralized housing. Some of you really hate it. I unfortunately cannot please all of you, so I'm going to have to just pick one. I do like the centralized housing near the zipline stations. We don't have any mods, so I can't use the Bobbing About's housing optimization or whatever that mod is called to try and get the beavers to live closer to work. That's just the way the game goes. But what I am probably going to end up doing, at least because we don't have bots yet, we might not ever have them, I'm going to build some little communities around some of these jobs here. We got 10 beavers working in the mine. We don't need to have 10 beavers working in the mine, but we've got them. So if we want to just overproduce a whole lot of metal blocks, then we can get ourselves in some trouble here. Depending on how we want to do it. Because I buried these, I can actually have a path around here to get up to this cliffside, which might be a good opportunity for us to build some stuff that doesn't look completely stupid. And guess what? I can use spiral staircases. I love spiral staircases. I think they're wonderful. So, if I pop that in here, we'll just, get out of the way of that mess. Make use of the natural landscape. And then up here, if we want, we can, get our dance on and put a dance hall kind of roughly in the middle in front of the mine. And then around it, we can have some other things, including housing. So what that is going to allow me to do, come straight through here. This actually... I've only got one. Well, I guess it's not going to be centralized after all, is it, if I only have one on this side? But we've got other stuff we can put up here. We got, you know, contemplation spots. In theory, will fit here, but if you're going to go to some place like this, you don't want to be next to the dodecahedron of merriment, or whatever you want to call that. So that would be a good opportunity to put something maybe off on the side of this cliff or whatever. Just a couple of contemplation spots, and by a couple, I mean 3. Just get that hooked up right there. And we have other decorative stuff we can pop in, like we've got benches. I never research these because I feel like it's a waste of time, but, you know, you can make stuff not look completely terrible. Different well-being things. Having well-being closer to the workplaces probably isn't that big of a deal, because there's just so much in and out coming in all day. But the guys that are living around here probably would appreciate this a whole lot more. So what I will do for the bulletin pole is, I think right here at the bottom of the stairs probably makes sense. And then if we come up here, we can do regular lodges, we can do doubles, we can do triples. And yes, we can kind of sink them into the ground if we go 1 deep. So if I do that there, and I do that there, I can put a triple lodge here, and I can put a double lodge here, and then the entrance will be right next to the pathway. I don't know how long it's going to take them to actually build this, but that would be something we can check back in with later. And we got 9 beavers in here. We got 6 beavers in here. That's 15. This employs 10. This employs 1. This employs 1. So it would be more than enough beavers theoretically living near here if it were smart enough to figure out who goes where. That would make sense. But it'll be, you know, a nice little beaver outpost. We'll, of course, need to have some liquid for them to drink, and we'll need to have other fun stuff for them to do and eat and all that. So I know we have the zipline station here. I'm not entirely sure what the best course of action to get this connected up to the top would be if I were to put another zipline in, because I do like things to be kind of symmetrical at the very least. We also probably don't need to worry about it, honestly. It's probably fine. But we do need a tank, at the very least, for water. And then as far as food is concerned, I think an area this small is probably fine with just some medium warehouses. We could, depending on how I want to go about designing this, could do something. No, that's not going to work perfectly. Do something like this. Again, it's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Actually, you know what? This might work. This might work okay. And I obviously can't block that, but 4 of those right there is not going to look horrible. If I just connect here and here, I've got, well, we've got a whole bunch of different types of food. We've got 9. We are making all 9 types of food available in the base game. Wait, that's not 9. Some of those are berries. I only need 8. Well then, just, again, I want stuff to not look completely terrible, if I can at all help it. Hey, bad tide time, cool. We're gonna find out, aren't we? We're gonna find out real quick. Can I? Yeah, I could do this. It's not gonna look horrible. It's not gonna look great, but it'll get me 6 in here. We can experiment. We can make some different looking stuff. And then what I will do here, I think I can make this not look completely horrible. Put another spiral staircase there. Come on. There we go. And then I can have on top of this, put a double here. Then I have my last 2 like that. I don't hate this. I definitely don't love it. But I don't hate it. I feel like this needs to go across here as well, so. Then I just have to have, you know, every type of food. I'm not going to worry about berries. just taken care of in here. So we got baked potato, grilled potato, not baked potato. Spatterduck, bread. Alright, so that's all 8 types of food. We got water. The 15 beavers who live here will have an incredible quantity and variety of things to stuff their faces with. And then I'll put some decorative stuff here. I could also put this down on this side. I could also do one of these numbers. That actually might not look too bad, putting this alternative design on there. Yeah, I don't hate that. It also gives them that nice roofing bonus here. But then I'll also have it on top of the buildings. Yeah, I think it's fine. I believe we are going to want to have holes underneath the gravity batteries. I'm not going to get there quite yet. I do think at some point eventually we're going to want to put in power shafts. But remember, this is vanilla. We don't have the power shaft tunnels. We don't have the two-ways or anything like in our other series that we can use to make this a very quick process. It is going to be long and painful to get that put in place. But I think that's going to be a nice help. Coming back over here, it says now we're down at 24 beavers. So we have so many incapacitated beavers because they're working in the mine and they're getting injured. Well, you know what that means? It means we need a beaver hospital. We have to find somewhere to put that. I don't really know. I wouldn't want that to be up here. Oh, the patch notes also said, if I'm remembering correctly, the water seep wasn't going to have bad water come out of it. But now I don't remember. And I guess I do have it up on the other screen. Now I can just scroll through here and see that. Let's see. No, you know what? I don't see anything about the bad water seep, the water seep. So I almost gaslit myself, and now I can't even talk. Great job. Mistakes were almost made, folks. I will close this so we don't have any bad water come out. And then I guess we get to see what happens here. I have no reason to believe that they would lie in the development diary, dev notes, whatever you want to call it. But also, I don't trust my reading comprehension enough to be for sure that this is going to, you know, be what I think it's going to be. And this did just happen a couple of hours ago, so I haven't seen anyone else make a video on it yet. A couple people talked to me in the Discord about it, but you know how well that goes sometimes. So let's see what happens. Okay, bad tide has started, and it's draining. It's draining. There's no more anything coming out of here. Oh boy, what a magnificent discovery this has been. I love this. Now I'm never going to have to worry about this again. Now I will keep this, because this will keep this irrigated. But the rest of this, I don't think needs to be a thing we worry about. I'm not going to delete it yet. And I might not delete it at all because, remember, this is going to be pumping everything out of here. And then if I take this out, then any water that's in here is going to go down here. And then we have to wait for this to completely fill up before this fills up at all. Because the water level here has to be higher than it is here for that to do anything. Okay, so we have learned a great lesson here. And the lesson is trust the dev notes. Now, here we go. The dodecahedron of merriment, I guess, is now what that's officially called. But I guess they're going to take the zip line to come all the way up here to, you know, do whatever you do with the dodecahedron of merriment. Instead of going everywhere else. I don't know, and I say that nobody's in here. But the lights are on. Nobody's home. Anyway, we need to build a beaver hospital. And I don't have a good idea where I want to put it. There's a bunch of different options. But I did see someone leave a comment like, why are you putting zipline stations everywhere? Well, I can either build a station or I can put a pylon somewhere. And if I think there's a chance I might want to build something in one of these areas in the future, then it makes much more sense to just put the station in. Material cost at this point is not really an obstacle. So, I guess what we can do right here is build ourselves a beaver hospital, because I already have the zipline station here. I may reorient how this is laid out, but we have 15 injured beavers, I think. 17, never mind. And that means we're going to need to have 17 medical beds at the very least. But what we also probably should do, and have not done to this point, is build an herbalist to make the antidote for the contaminated beavers. We don't have contaminated beavers, but we might have contaminated beavers at some point in the future. So that will require paper, dandelions, and berries. We do not currently have any dandelions, to my knowledge, anywhere on the map. We'd have to plant those with a forester. And I don't think we have any berries either, because I think I got rid of all of those. It's like, we're not going to need those. So I think it probably doesn't make sense to put a separate forester in for just the berries and the dandelions long term. But what we can do... I know I'm going all over the place. What we can do is right here in the middle, we do a 3x3, and then I can have this be an irrigation pool. We can put in a forester temporarily to plant a small selection of dandelions and berry bushes, because those don't have to be replanted. They just keep growing and you harvest the stuff. I think that is going to be one of the better things that we could do. It's also decorative, you know? Hospitals, especially now, I think, in the U.S. at least, are starting to pay more attention to aesthetic sensibilities, which, I don't know, maybe that's making stuff expensive, but it looks nice. If we put this all the way around here, I will have to move this, then that gives us irrigation, which I've already said what we're going to do with that. So for the hospital bits, medical beds, what I think might be nice is to kind of just have this set up here-ish. This gives us 12. Probably need more, but I have this cliff in the way. I'm leaving a space in between here, so I can put some decorations, or maybe these can be the berry bushes or something. We'll see what happens. So yeah, 12 there. I probably don't need to have a ton more, but I do want it to not look completely ridiculous. So if I did this, then I've got 6 here, and then I've got another 8. I need to find somewhere else to put some more, but I don't want to go too far out. Well, this would fit, and it wouldn't look completely ridiculous. I guess you could call these the rooms with a view. The scenic wasteland out there. Oh boy. Well, regardless, what this will also allow me to do is put some rooftops on these things here. So there you go. That's going to look like something at least. So 12 there, 4 there, 4 there. We've got 20. I don't have 20 incapacitated beavers. And then I need to have somewhere to put an herbalist, which is a 2x2 building. It's not really going to be a symmetrical thing, I guess, but you can just pop this right there. I don't know that we're ever even going to need it. Thank you, autosave. But it'll be fine. And again, this is going to get moved. I just have to figure out distance-wise what's going to work or not work here. If I disconnect this, then I find out... Oh, they got stranded down there. That's on me. Okay, this is exactly 30. Man, okay, that's on me, once again. But boy, is this annoying. I love the Unstuckify mod so much. I miss it dearly. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a little staircase up here. It's probably not a terrible thing to have this up here anyway, but that's fine. Oh, we can explode now. B for boom. Very good. Triple lodge there, double lodge there. Put this right at the edge, probably fine. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Not a bad idea. So if I were to put in a roofing piece there, that'll cover both of those. And then what I can do a farm monument, or I can do a brazier of bonding that will cover this entire thing. That's not a bad idea. Not a tremendous idea, but it's not a bad one. Why did I deprioritize? Whatever. They got enough stuff to build. It's not that big of a deal. Did that beaver just die? That was stuck here? Alright, well, that solves that problem. Alright, what else? What else can I do here without it being a huge pain in the butt? Well, I don't know. I think at this point we just kind of have to, you know, let them build what they're going to build. So it's time-lapse time. Hopefully they can get some sort of progress done on this. We'll have the camera pointed to this, or else I'm going to look like an idiot, but that's not new. So we'll give them a little bit of a chance to get this constructed, and we'll come back probably after this bad tide is over and begin the process of putting these plants in and maybe make a few more decorative improvements. All right, so they still haven't built this, and they haven't built any of the coverings or anything, but the medical beds are in place, and so is the dynamite, so B for boom. And now I just need to come in here and put in a platform with our fluid dump. And this will greenify all of this space, and then at some point we can plant the rest of the plants and move on from there. But I wanted to come and see... Well, shouldn't have done that because I haven't done anything. Good job. I don't think I had anything else going on, but I can get rid of these. They're empty. I said I was going to wait till we have a drought to do this, so I don't interrupt power flow necessarily for things that are actually working with all of this. You know what? Actually, that probably doesn't matter because we have the gravity batteries anyway. We'll see what happens. I do need to, before I forget, need to reverse this. I've done it before, and I can't automate it, so you know that's how that goes. I've got these lumberjacks here that are only working on these trees. I think we can, I think we can pretty safely just not plant any more of these. I think that's going to be fine. This scrap metal thing doesn't need to be here. That can go away. I know there's garbage all over the ground. It'll get picked up eventually, maybe. I don't need to force the beavers to do whatever with that. Oh, that's down because they finished... Where am I? They finished this. Okay, that makes sense. I thought like, well, I thought I had more water than that, but the number is what you actually need to pay attention to. All right, so I guess we'll put this back in triple speed. It's fine. We need more water storage, but that's probably something we could figure out at another date and time. Now I kind of want to get into messing with these aquifers here. But I also feel like we need to have a better unified power setup. Which is going to be... Yeah, because I didn't put this down on the very bottom level like I probably should have. Because it's annoying to build with these guys. Maybe I just won't worry about it. But if we have clean water come out through here, then that will make a bunch of this green. And then it'll spill out into here and dilute some of this. Obviously, the goal long-term should be to close off bad water sources that we don't actually need. Right now, I just have a single bad water pump here. We do have the option to get a bad water rig if we're going to be using that much bad water. I don't know that that's really a thing we should be worried about. These, of course, are only going to put out clean water once we get to that point. And someone was irritated that I didn't just go to this underground ruins instead of that one over there. It's fine. Maybe it's worth at some point soon trying to get these bad water sources closed off. Maybe. Well, this one's close. I know we have a whole bunch of other construction projects going on right now. They're in the middle of working on. But the medical beds actually being enough to, you know, take care of all these injured beavers is only going to help. And whenever they build these houses, that's also only going to help. So I will get those prioritized slightly so that can happen. And I suppose we can start the process of getting over here to put a bad water dome. I got the science for it. I have the materials. I hope. Yeah, I do. Okay. So as a reminder, the bad water dome for the folktales is just a dome. It does not force a discharge when it is open. It will just let it come out when it's supposed to come out. It does not force it during a bad tide, or not a bad tide, a drought. So closed they will be. They will just need to have some sort of a... so that's not going to work. I'm going to have the longer ones. Just put a suspension bridge in there, and then this is very, very easily popped in here. Once again, spiral staircases are cool, so I'm going to use them and give them a thing there. So this requires planks, gears, and metal blocks. Our closest storage for all of those things is nowhere near here. So what we will end up doing is putting in just some regular piles. They're not that expensive for us to build, so I'll just do that. Planks, I'm sorry, not gears in a pile. Gears go in a warehouse. And metal blocks. So that can be one of their many construction projects at some point in the future. And then maybe we can turn this into something else. Who knows? It will take several cycles for this to dry up once this is turned off. And maybe it could make a neat little reservoir if we wanted to just dump a whole lot of clean water into it. Who knows? We have the option with tunnels, should we choose to go that route, to force this to come up from underneath. In terms of height, this is the same height right here. This land that I'm talking about is the same height as this. So if I had a tunnel go underneath here into this, it would naturally fill up without me having to have an irrigation setup. Maybe that's something that's worth doing. I don't know. This actually probably should be something that I do know, but I don't. As far as the amount of water that comes out of these things, if that's even enough to counteract evaporation. But we'll let them do what they got to do. Come back over here where this is all set up. We do not have dandelions or berries or paper or anything over here because they have not finished this. But I can pre-plant, let's say, blueberries there, and then dandelions here and here. I can't imagine we're ever even going to need to use this at all, but I said I was going to put it here, so I'll put it here. They just have to be able to actually get at it, and then there needs to be a gatherer flag somewhere in the environs to pick stuff up, and I guess that can be there. When we have enough beavers, it's not going to matter that we're quote-unquote wasting labor on stuff like this. I do want to move the zipline station to be here facing this way, but that is going to cause a problem with the location of this pylon. We're going to have to put intermediary pylons in place. So I will put this one... I can't fit that there. I'll put this one here, and then I guess I will put this one here, and then we'll just have to connect those. These two can actually be connected. No, they can't because it's obstructed. But it'll be easy enough once those two are built to just go bap, 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 and then here until I want to put this in this spot, and then... You know what? That's actually going to cause a lot of problems because... Yeah, I'm going to have to remove this, which is going to completely cut this entire area off. No, they can walk to this station and then go over here, but it is quite far from the district center. Note that this only says 65 distance, despite it being very clearly more than 65 tiles to get to this. And I think that's because of the zipline station travel distance. So this one's 25. That's actually 25 tiles to get to here. Does that actually... Yeah, it does. This one only says 30. Isn't that fun? So when I remove this, I imagine that this is not going to say 65. It's going to say something like 150 or whatever. And then this is not going to say 80. It's going to say something just incredibly absurd. Anyway, we got that. We got 11 free beds because both of these are completed. So that's going to be a whole thing. What is this even? Why is this even? Whatever. I deprioritized stuff because I wanted other stuff to get built, and then I forgot that I deprioritized it. And it was a whole thing. They haven't started building that. Haven't started building that, and I wonder because I want a time lapse again. But I know they're not ever going to finish this stuff unless I just, you know, tell them to do it. So if I take that, I take that, then they should be able to, in theory, build this. So I'm going to time lapse this once again. Hopefully they build this first. They should. It was in the queue first before I deprioritized it. I don't know if it maintains its original position with the deprioritization taken off, or if it puts it in a new later spot in the queue. I would love to have a building queue mechanistry, please and thank you. It would be very, 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 very helpful. But at any rate, they're going to take care of this, and then we will watch the construction of the bad water thing. And if we have time, maybe we can do some other stuff. But I'll see you on the other side. Alright, so they finished the bad water dome here. This will dry up very nicely, and it's good that we did this during a drought because then I have maybe 2 days less of waiting to do. I know. It's going to take like 3 cycles for this to completely dry up, and it's really, really irrelevant. But I thought it was funny. So what we can do now, because this is already full of bad water, we have all this stuff that can get moved out of the way. We no longer need over here. We can put bad water pumps here to help speed the process along. And there is a little bit, not a ton, but there's a little bit of stuff that can be pumped out. I have, full storage of 300 right here. And conveniently, it's time for this to get ripped out anyway. So, that's what we'll do. I'll just take this bad water pump out. This centrifuge currently is load-bearing for the whole power network, so it's not going to go away, but we are going to replace it. And in time, when we get everything all sealed up, there will be no bad water coming through here at all, so we don't want to pump out of here. I thought about, you know, maybe trying to do this one too, but what the heck? Let's do it. Let's hit pause. All right. Bad water dome there. Just needs somewhere to hang from so they can put their pieces in. Yeah, the 5x would be closer that way anyhow. And it's on the zipline network too, if I can, well, get up here first. That's a bit of a tall order, I suppose. The fastest route would be to come from here. Come this way. Go down here, go down here. No real easy way, short of just doing one of these. Get that hooked up here. And then we can have the same kind of setup ready to go. Nice and simple. So we prioritize heavily the stairs construction. That'll get them started. And then that, and then that, and then that, and then that. We'll take care of that. While this does not need to be here. This does not need to be here. This does not need to be here. And because I said I was going to do it, I'll put in bad water pump. Why would it do that? Why? Okay, whatever. Whatever, Timberborn. Why are you like this? Why are you the way that you are? This is absolutely hideous, but it's fine. This is not a priority to get built, but they can suck the bad water out of here and, I don't know, figure something out for storage. I guess I'll just put a tank here, set to bad water. Not used to that being reorganized. But anyway, now they can do this. If they can do this in 3.8 days, I'm going to be really impressed. And I think it's worth putting this in here as a super high priority because that's going to make it faster. So I know how much we love time lapses. We just absolutely adore them with our entire hearts. Yeah, we're going to do that again. I'm going to get this on triple speed. And if they can get this done in the next 3.8 days, we're going to be in a very interesting, positive situation. Not for power. It's going to make power absolutely horrible for a brief period of time. But it's going to make the map a lot cleaner, and it's going to give us an opportunity to get into these other aquifers and put in the drills so that we can actually produce clean water and have that run the power wheels. Water wheels, whatever you want to call them. At any rate, I'll see you on the other side of this drought, whether they finish it or not. Alright, so they didn't finish building it, but how far did they get? Okay, less than halfway for the gear supply, at least 50% on the construction progress. But I think we can feel pretty accomplished with that. This one's taken care of. These bad water pumps are bad water pumping. Medium tank is not quite finished. But this will turn the wheels for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, these are not going to have a chance to really drain at all. Unless they finish this before things get, you know, super full of nasty here. Gotta see, I don't see that happening. But it's fine. This is, after all, even with the zipline stations, it's 104 blocks in terms of distance from the district center. Yeah, it's alright, it's fine. It's fine. This is nicely irrigated, though. I'm liking this a whole lot. I know we don't have a forester over here to plant these things, and I said I was going to move this. So, what I'm going to do, first off, is make sure there's no beavers on this segment before I get rid of it. Otherwise, I have somebody else die again. That's always annoying. And that's not going to hit there until I can get that guy off of there. There we go. And then this, I'm not going to remove the entire thing yet, but that's going to go away. That's going to get connected at... No, I have to remove that. That's right. That's going to go there. And for the time being, yes, because I don't want to disrupt this whole thing. Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to get rid of it. There you go. Just rip that Band-Aid right off. We'll just... why did I... Okay. Yeah, we'll just prioritize this. Get that set there, and then this, of course, has to connect to there. Alright, so I'm not going to sit here and time-lapse this again, because I'm absolutely certain no one wants to sit through another one of those in this episode. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. You know, did a little bit of everything today. We improved the zipline infrastructure a little bit, like I said at the start. I still don't really have a great idea of how to make a hub. I know there's going to be all sorts of people with suggestions, and I unfortunately am probably not going to understand them in text form. Just that's how my brain works, or doesn't work. But I'm going to try to come up with something that doesn't look completely horrible. We do have this mine area now technically self-sufficient. I don't know. Well, okay, well, there's no water here, but I don't know exactly what else I want to do here quite yet. But yeah, it's working. It's doing something. And of course, we have Beaver Hospital. Now, only 10 incapacitated beavers. It's down from 17 or whatever it was. I would like to try and make the whole map green before we're finished with this playthrough, but that, of course, will just take time. So this is probably where I have to just end today's episode. Try to find a good vantage point. I guess I don't really have a ton, but I appreciate you guys watching this series, sticking with it, and giving me some helpful input, helpful ideas, so on and so forth, on getting different things accomplished. I never play with the folktales, hardly ever, like once per update. So I admittedly do not know as much about them as I do with the Iron Teeth. Not that that really is a guarantee of anything being good anyway, but you get where I'm coming from. I'm just glad you're here, and I like that this is a supportive and helpful community. Beard Boosters, of course, make all that possible with their contributions to keep the channel sponsor-free and algorithm unbeholden. That's not how English works. It's fine. But those folks really do make it possible for the channel to be what it is. Believe it or not, this is not the only thing I do. It is, I guess, technically my primary job at this point, but I still have a whole lot of stuff I do outside of YouTube that takes a tremendous amount of time. And the folks that contribute to that just make it possible for me to not have to worry about, oh, well, maybe I have to spend 8 hours recording today because I don't have 8 hours to record. I've got like, I don't know, this is an hour, 20 minutes at this point. It's going to get cut down with the time lapses. I don't know, probably about 50 to 55 minutes, but that's basically as much time as I have to record in a day. And those folks, once again, make it possible to do what we do the way that we do it and still have a good time and make it viable. So always going to be thankful for them. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again in the next video. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.